Welcome back, everybody, and Happy New Year, trainers. We are going to be going into some PvP battles and then also be discussing the new research breakthrough for just a moment after these battles. But first, I want to go over Floatzel and also Primeape. Primeape is a pig-looking fighting type Pokemon that is a puffball. It's going to be the year of the pig, so we're going to go over that one as well. Anyways, we have Floatzel here. This is going to be a great option to go into the Great League with. It's going to be a pure water type. All right, it's max CP 2,443, attack 221, defense 114, and stamina 198. So it's, it can take a few hits, and it has fairly good attack. Now let's look at its moves, because that's the important part. So we have Water Gun and Waterfall. You're going to always want to go with Water Gun. That's going to be a massive damage outputting move, as well as energy gain for your charge moves down here. Now, it is a water type, and you can get walled by, say, a dragon or possibly grass type, right? If that is the case, then you will have Swift to protect you, at least do neutral damage and not very effective. Hydro Pump is obviously a strong move. That's up to you to use. Personally, if I was using Floatzel, I would go with Swift and Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet is going to be a 3 charge move, low energy gain. You're going to be able to get them off, break the shield, and eat through the health. You know how we do. So that is a good one to go with. Just wanted to show you that. Floatzel looks amazing. Alright, trainers, next up we have Wobbuffet. So Chirk was using this, and keep in mind we were going around 1000 CP, but his Wobbuffet was sitting at 700 CP. So much lower than everything else in the fight. And you can see the performance. Now, do you really want to use this in the Great League? I don't know. Maybe you want to power one up and see how well it can perform. Max CP is going to be 1026. So, yeah, it's not going to be getting anywhere near 1500, but you never know what you can do with it with a stamina of 382, defense 106, and attack 60. So, not that high for attack, but hey, it is what it is. So it's going to be weak to Bug, Dark, Ghost, Resisting, Fighting, and Psychic. All right. Now let's go ahead and look at its moves, because that's very important. Oh, boy. Oh, no. What is Splash Energy Gain? 11.6. Doing 0 damage. And then you have Counter. You're going to want to go with Counter, right? There's no doubt about it. And then you have Mirror Coat. That's it, right? Okay. So yeah, guys, it's not something super crazy. And if you go up against a dark type, well, you have counter. You have counter. You can just keep charging your mirror coats and just do as much damage as you can. Anyway, give it a shot. Tell me how it works. There's nothing crazy to this. They just counter and mirror coat. That's it. Whatever you can pull off with that is on you, right? And depending on the opponents that you're going up against and the team that you have to work around it and protect it. All right, so I recommend, I don't know, maybe just countering a whole lot if they can't hit you with anything super effective and they're not doing any damage, and see how many mirror coats you can stack. And then just wear them out. Just wear them out. It'd be crazy. Anyway, just thought I'd show you the silly old Wobbuffet here, because it actually might be some sort of a tricky idea to go into a battle with. Right, so here we have Primeape, another Great League option that's going to be doing a lot of work if you have the correct moveset. So I did go up against a trainer, I'd say about four times or so, the same one, because my thing within the Silk Roads organization for the next person was messed up, right? Because of the extra account. We already went over that. But nonetheless, it was great. It performed fantastic. I do have a double legacy personally myself, so this is going to be maxed out at 2,288. Obviously, you're not going to go that high if you're trying to go into the Great League. Attack 207, defense 138, stamina 163. So let's go ahead and look at the moveset that he had. He was actually using, I do believe, Karate Chop and Cross Chop, so it was a double legacy. I think he may have had a low kick or counter for the quick move, but he definitely had a Cross Chop. So I personally have Karate Chop and Cross Chop. That's going to be great. Now I want you to look at Karate Chop's EPS 12.5. That is outstanding. You're going to be able to get off those Cross Chops or Night Slash. Close combat, you're going to be able to bring up the close combat fairly fast, right? But Night Slash, low sweep, and whoa, where are we going? Cross Chop. Those are the ones that are going to be going continuously to destroy their shield. Now, if you don't have a double legacy, now what do you want to go with? We have a low kick that's going to be gaining 10 energy, and then Counter that is going to be gaining 8.9. Counter is strong. Counter is great. You may want to go with that. Obviously, we've seen the low kick will be gaining more energy quicker, so the choice is yours. But Primeape is another nice option. You also have that Night Slash to protect yourself from possibly Psychic-type Pokemon. Right now, Drapion is going to be another great league option that you may want to go with in the future, seeing that it has one weakness. So the one that you're seeing in battle is going to be a 2100 CP. That's same with all the Pokemon. I should have done better switching, yes, this and that, but these are just test battles. We're just messing around. We're not trying to die hard win here. So Drapion is going to be maxed out at 2,453, also making it perfect for the Ultra League if you were deciding to max it out. Attack 180, defense pretty nice 202, and stamina 172. Now defense and stamina are looking pretty good considering it has one weakness, right? So let's look at that really quick. It's going to be weak to just ground type, resisting dark, ghost, grass, poison, and psychic. So for its moves, we have infestation and poison sting. You have 12.7 energy gain for infestation. That's pretty darn good. And then 11.7 for poison sting. So really depends on what you're trying to do. Obviously, infestation is going to be gaining more energy to charge up your moves faster. And the charge moves on Drapion are just absolutely magnificent. Look at that. You have Sludge Bomb. What? Are you serious? That's a great poison double charge bar move. Then you have Aqua Tail. What is it weak against? What is Drapion weak against? Ground. Aqua Tail. There you go. Bam. Countered. Fantastic. If you have some shields, shield up those whatever Earthquake. If they have a quick ground move, then, you know, might be in a little trouble there. But as far as the charge moves, just shield up, and then Aqua Tail. If they shield up too, then the choice is yours there. Then you have Crunch, another great charge move for PvP battles because it is a 3 charge bar move and it takes very low energy to gain. Same with Aqua Tail. Right, you might think I'm crazy, but the people who understand, they know that this is actually a good Pokemon. Persian, right here for PvP in the Great League. I was finally able to test mine out because mine is completely maxed out at around this CP, 1689, and I was not able to bring it into the Great League, well, because it went over. And if I bring it into the Ultra League, it would just get destroyed by the higher CP Pokemon, so we were able to do a correct test with about balanced CP Pokemon against each other, and it was tearing through with that quick attack. He's used it against me before, and I was just confused, like, what's going on? That quick move is doing massive damage. Anyways, let's go over this. As you can see, the max CP, 1689, attack, 150, defense, 136, and stamina, 163. Now let's go ahead and look at its moves. That's important. So it has a legacy. That's going to be Night Slash for its charge move. Now let's look at its quick moves. I was using Scratch. Scratch on Persian. You're getting Stab, and you have an energy gain of 8. It's not that great. You have an energy gain of 10 for Feint Attack, and you'll also be having... I don't think you Feint Attack. If you're going up against a fighting type Pokemon and you're using that, it's not going to be very effective. So probably want to just go with Scratch. It just tears right through everything. It's insane. Unless you're going up against a Steel, Rock, or a Ghost type Pokemon, you're not going to be doing much damage. Otherwise, pretty good. Now for its charge moves, you have Foul Play, Play Rough, and then Power Gem. We have 50, so that's not going to take you long to get there if you needed to use this move for whatever reason. And then you have Play Rough, which I highly recommend. You're going to be able to wreck those dragons and fighting type Pokemon once you're able to finally actually get that up, you know, if you're not fainted by then. And then you have Power Gem, which is going to be great for those flying type Pokemon, and also whatever else you need to cover that with. So, I mean, its moves look great. It's going to be able to get off anything quick, especially put on a massive damage with that Scratch. As you can see, it's just tearing through things. So just another fun option if you wanted to give it a shot. Persian, always a favorite of mine. Alright, trainers, so I will be doing commentary over the actual battles themselves, discussing what is happening, because I know you guys enjoyed that first one that I put out, and I feel like it's good, and we're going to go down that route. It's like a sports commentary, right? Except for the Pokemon Go PvP. So we're going to be doing that, and I'm going to stick to that. I just wanted to bring you a few Pokemon to show you there, and these right here are kind of test battles. So I mean, I could discuss what's going on and tell you what's happening, but I wasn't necessarily trying to go for the win, like 100%. We're just messing around, testing these Pokemon, and, you know, me being a little bit of a tryhard in between here and there. So check this out, though. I will tell you, you should always look for coverage. So in this situation, my Blossom has a quick move acid. So if it did have a grass move, I probably would have lost this because it would have been doing no damage to that Charizard. But since it was neutral, I was able to take it out right before it was able to get me. And that is why you should always look for that kind of coverage move. Yes, it is a part grass type, and that's why I have a grass charge move so that I can get that out there. Although Razor Leaf is a massive hitting move. Now, we have some funny battles here. This is going to be 100 CP and lower. All right, so we kind of made sure we were about tie, because if you did go in with like a 20 CP to 100 CP Pokemon, the 100 CP is just going to crush it. So, right, so we are over here on the Silk Road. We're going to go over the new research tasks that have been conducted and are still ongoing. The question mark is going to mean they haven't been 100% confirmed, but are pretty much there. And about the Pokemon that I was just talking about, I was covering those because we were just testing them out, and I figured I'd talk about their stats and moves to give you an idea. Obviously, a Wobbuffet and a Primeape and even a Floatzel. Floatzel might find some usability. Actually, you know, it might be fairly good, but for the most part, you may want to go with different options. But I'm just throwing things out there. As far as the Drapion, though, that's a different story. Now, that's top tier if you use it correctly, especially with that Sludge Bomb. You have those Azumarils. Well, fairy types, you're going to be super effective to that, right? And it's not going to be dealing super effective damage to you. You're only going to be weak to ground, and it can't learn any ground moves. So you have that covered, considering people are going to be liking to use those in PvP. All right, so with that said, I have been over many Pokemon, right? Things that you will want to use, and many PvP battles. So we've already covered the meta-relevant Pokemon and things like that. Anyways, let's go ahead and go over what they have here. So shout out to the Silk Road, very nice. So the Silver Pineapple, that is what I'm very interested in there. As you can see, it'll have all the categories right next to them as to what you need to do. There is the question mark for the Sandshrew. Was just here a few minutes ago, refreshed it, and the Magnemite had a question, and so did the Houndour. But it looks like they're gone and have been confirmed, so you can just look forward to that. Finally, we're able to get those Sandshrews through a research task, and they're shiny now. So that's going to be nice. Hopefully we can get one of those soon, or me personally. And it looks like they have a pretty good lineup here, folks. Yeah, it's looking fantastic. So I'm not going to read them all off here. As you can see, I'll leave a link so you can just check it out, because this is well put together and super clean. And then you have the starter Pokemon there. And as far as my team, what did I use for PvP, huh? I bet you want to see that. We'll go over some of the Pokemon that I used in just a moment. Alright, so here we have two members of the team that I used in the Great League in that tournament. Toxicroak. Now, I was very hesitant as to whether or not I should use this. The only reason why, well, there's two reasons. One being it has Mud Bomb and Dynamic Punch. Fantastic moves. That Mud Bomb is charging fairly quick with that Poison Jab, and there's going to be a few things weak to ground in the Great League that people are going to be using that are meta relevant. Another reason is I enjoy this Pokemon a lot. And not only that, but I love using the underdog things. Don't like using the higher tier meta relevant Pokemon that people are going to be continuously using. Did I have upper tier Pokemon? Yes, of course I did. But, I mean, if you're trying to win, you're going to have to be using these things. You can go in there as a rebel and try to underuse everything, and who knows, you might just come out on top. So yeah, Toxicroak, really enjoyed this, and it's going to be weak, quite weak to Psychic. I went up against, get this, oh guys, I can't believe the footage got corrupt. I went up, my first battle, it was so crazy, right? He had an attack form Deoxys, and I do believe I put my Toxicroak out first, and it went down like crazy fast, right? But we kind of both fainted at the same time. Basically what happened was it knocked my Toxicroak out in about 2 hits. And I almost took the Deoxys down itself, but I was surprised on it actually surviving that attack form Deoxys. So that was hilarious. But there were situations where my Toxicroak was just magnificent. I even went up against a Gardevoir. It did have confusion. I was thinking, please have Charge Beam on that thing, but nope. It had confusion. It was doing quite a bit of damage, but get this. Gardevoir, fairy type, right? I got that Poison Jab, so that was doing a lot of damage as well before it eventually fell. Now, let me tell you this too. If you're in a bad situation and you're thinking, dang, I'm taking massive damage, I have something that can counter it, it's more than likely, yes, you should switch. But think about it. If they have not switched yet, they're going to be able to then counter what you just sprung in. And you're going to be stuck there for about a minute, because that is the switch cooldown. So you better think about that. Sometimes, we went over this before, it's better to just stick it out, do as much damage as you can, and then take that loss. Because if you do switch, you're going to bring back the Pokemon that just took massive damage that you were trying to protect. And it's basically a lost cause there. And then you're going to bring in something that can just easily be countered and switch into, and they'll just take you out. That, or you're just going to burn through your shields, and then you might pull through because they switched into a counter Pokemon. So you really have to play your cards right. And for that Gardevoir situation, that's basically what was it. I just went down with the ship with the Toxicroak against that Gardevoir, put in as much damage as I could. And that's where it comes into play on having specific counter Pokemon on your team. Now, as far as the Snorlax here, how did it perform? Well, it performed just nice, just like I thought. So I wanted to put something on the team that was going to be able to tank through things and also dish out a good amount of damage. But the only problem is I needed something that could also tank through things but go up against another tanky Pokemon. What is something common that people like to fall back on as a shield, protector, savior for their team or them is usually Steelix. It's just going to be able to absorb hits. It's high HP. Defense, it's good. It's good on the defense. But it is steel type, and that's where it's at. It's going to be resisting a lot of things if you don't have the correct counters. So personally, if I would go up against a Steelix with a Snorlax, if I had a Lick and Body Slam, I would be in a bit of trouble. It's not going to be dishing out super effective damage with any of its moves to my Snorlax personally, but it's going to probably win that stamina race. It's just going to chip me away before I can chip it away, because, well, normal type is not going to be very effective. But, we have that Earthquake right there. That's right. That is what we're going to use to help cover those specific situations like that. That, or if they've burned through all their shields, they have a Pokemon out there that has basically almost full health, and I somehow have a Snorlax, my Snorlax, that the Earthquake is charged up already, I'll go ahead and go for that. Otherwise, it's going to be burnt, eat through their shields, then eat through their health. Snorlax, go for it. Yeah, just go down with the ship. Just do as much damage as you possibly can. So it worked great. I'm happy with it. It is obviously Legacy Body Slam, and it was traded. I personally had one. I traded to Scarlet, and, well, it turned out to be okay. So this one is a definite go. Now, as far as any other Pokemon, I think I'll show you one more. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, now we have the Blastoise. Very, very good Pokemon here. Now, it's funny. Blastoise is no good before PvP, right? Even me, I was like, yeah, it has its defense. It could tank through things. It could dish out a good amount of damage. But I did mention it will be good for PvP, and it is. It is good for PvP. And especially with that Ice Beam. So you're going to want Hydro Cannon, obviously, the Community Day move. And then you're going to want to go with Water Gun for sure. So, oh no, Dragon type comes along. Well, just get that Ice Beam up and go for it. Obviously, if they could shield up, they'll probably more than likely know that you have Ice Beam if they're an experienced player. So they will definitely not let you get that Ice Beam through, but that's okay. For the most part, there's not going to be too many dragons that are just going to be dealing super effective damage to Blastoise. It's just going to be neutral for the most part, right? As far as electric moves, you might have to look out for that, but it's not too big of a concern when it comes to dragons. So you do have to look out for those Venusaurs, but then again, you have, once again, Ice Beam to help you cover that. But if the Venusaur has a Razor Leaf, yeah, you might want to get out of there, right? And when we've been over counters, you have those Pokemon that can resist specific types quite a bit. If you must switch and you set up your team great, switching into something that resists that specific move that it was taking high damage from would be in your best interest, obviously. But Crobat is a specific one I'm talking about because it does have poison and flying type with it, which is going to help you protect. And if they do decide to bring in some psychic type Pokemon, which not likely, I didn't see too many. I think it was only Gardevoir. But you will have that Shadow Ball to help you cover that situation as well. So, it's kind of weighs out like that. And if you're wondering, no, I did not use Crobat. Highly considering it, but it was just too much electric weaknesses for my taste personally. And with those lanterns and possibly Zapdos. I even went up lurking around. I didn't want to take the risk. I even went up against not a Raikou, actually. It was an Entei. So, yes, there was legendaries there. Were they a problem? Nah. See, it's amazing, and I love it. That's why PvP in this is pretty good, is because the legendaries are not a threat. I mean, you do have Cresselia, if somebody bring that in, but if you had Bug or Dark moves, Ghost moves, you should be somewhat generally okay. If you're using a Gengar, you better look out because it's going to take you out. But say you had a Caesar, for instance, that's just going to completely demolish Cresselia for sure. So, as far as legendaries go in PvP, other than Giratina, Cresselia, and Mewtwo, I suppose. Even Mewtwo's not that hard of a threat. It can be annoying with Psycho Cut and Shadow Ball, but just make sure you have a normal type or something, and that's not going to get that Focus Blast up quick enough. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, trainers, and if you're worried about people using legendaries, don't. It's not that big a deal. They're fun to actually go up against. So I hope you enjoyed this video, trainers. Those were a part of my team. I'm going to be reconstructing and putting another one together for the next tournament. If I decide to go, we'll see how that works. But yeah, I spent quite a bit on these Pokemon, and not just the ones I've shown you. I've bought in for the Great League and powered up. I don't know. I spent a lot of Stardust. Ever since PvP has released, I've spent about 5 to 6 million Stardust for spread out through all leagues, but mostly in the Ultra and Great League. The most I've spent in the Master, I already had Pokemon. I bought a secondary move for Kyogre and Mewtwo. That's 200,000 Stardust total. That's probably the most I spent. And finally, I don't know why I'm putting this at the very end, but for your breakthrough 7th-day box, you will be able to encounter Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres, as well as Lugia and Ho-Oh, all in their shiny form, if you are lucky, okay? So, my Moltres, of course, I have several of those from the Moltres Day. I have never received a shiny through a research breakthrough yet, not even a regular Pokestop one. So, got plenty of these Ho-Ohs, and yeah, I'm looking good. I still don't have a shiny Articuno, because when they came back, or when they were out, I did like 2 of them. I don't know, something was happening, I was busy, and I just couldn't get out to hit those raids during that period. Also, I think I was a little unmotivated to go and raid them for some reason. Alright, so my only shiny Lugia here, there we go. I'm happy for that. And then I got a couple of the Zapdos from Zapdos Day, so I'm looking alright. So if you haven't found your shiny and you're looking for that, good luck out there. And hopefully you can get yourself a shiny. And apparently there was a bug at first, like before, right when the new tasks started happening, that people were encountering just Moltres for some reason. So hopefully you were not one of those people, and you're able to collect one of these and get yourself that shiny bird. And I hope everybody has a great new year. Take care.